frustration level at after dropping another close one?
Well, I mean, listen, it's like Groundhog Day. I mean, we're playing the same game every night, right? Like, get down, fight back, run out of gas, can't close. That's what we've been doing. Thought we got off to a better start, then kind of the wheels fell off in the middle. Regrouped, played with a really good energy for a lot of the second half, and then things dried up and we couldn't get a stop. Yeah,
you're up 12 one way or at one point in that fourth quarter. What did you see that changed from about that 7-minute mark?
Well, I mean, I thought couldn't get a rebound on the one big possession. It led to a kick out three and kind of the avalanche start from there. Great players see the ball go in and now they get hot, and then they kept getting to their dominant hand, which we were trying to keep them from doing, and they were making shots. So, and then when we tried to get up and take the ball out of their hand, they beat us around the edge too easily. So.
Chris, what has to happen to kind of get out of this rut that you guys are in right now?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think our guys got to lean in to, kind of, first of all, they got to be able to handle small pieces of adversity a lot better than they are, whether it's a shooting slump or a bad call or a bad stretch of play or a poor decision by their teammate. They got to get a lot closer and more connected through those times for sure. And then, I think we got to have just more consistent. Like today, we focused on a better start, and we did a good job there. But we just got to have more consistent application of what we're actually trying to do. Guys are kind of a little bit in their own world when things aren't going well for them, and it's affecting both sides of the ball, which that has to be changed. So.
I think it was like 44 points in the paint in the first half, and they really just kept going to the rim over and over. How do you shore that up and make it harder on opponents at the rim?
Yeah, I think our kind of rim protection has been inconsistent like everything else this season. In the second half, we got up. We got more aggressive. We created a little bit more of a fly-around mentality, stopped them coming downhill. But, we got to play with more resistance, and, we got to be better at the rim.
And at this point of a slide here, do you look at things that you can do differently schematically or rotation-wise? What do you think can happen from a coaching standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at it after 4 losses. I look at it all the time. So, we're trying to figure out, second unit coverages still they're going to be different every night because of the lineups that we face, but we figure we have to be more aggressive in those lineups. Trying to direct the ball a little bit more offensively. I thought we did a good job through a lot of the fourth in that regard. And obviously trying to lengthen the rotation.
What do you chalk up especially that second unit? It just seems like there's so much confusion about who the low man is on certain plays, and it's just not there, and it's happening kind of game after game. What do you chalk that up to?
Yeah, just reps. We just got to get better reps. A lot of it's I think we're switching as much as we can with that lineup. Drives that come from the top of the floor. There's confusion on who is the low man. It's a very kind of fine thing about what the drive initiates. But we've got to go. I'd rather have 2 low men than none. So. And
then I think you guys were up 10 in the middle of the quarter and the fourth, and then Ant took probably an ill-advised 3 and it led to a run out the other way.
Yeah.
Those are things that happened a lot in the past, but you guys just seem to have more margin for error.
Mm-hmm.
Now that isn't there, how do you kind of go about eliminating those little small things that can kind of lead to an avalanche?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. The margin for error is not there. When you give yourself a 10-point lead, you got to be able to execute, and I thought we kind of lost our there were several things that we lost our kind of willingness to execute, and we're looking for the knockout punch all the time. Even if you make that shot, there's 5 minutes left and they're only up 13 or something like that, so it's not really a knockout shot. So got to get better there.
This seems to be less of an X's and O's and schemes thing and more of a psychology, mental thing at this point. I mean, you get to the point where you're up comfortably, seemingly, and all of a sudden it goes away.
Yeah.
It requires a different kind of coaching or a different kind of approach toward it? How do you shift gears on and confront that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think for sure got to try to call a lot more sets, get us organized coming down the stretch, and, our defense, like, we used to close games with our defense. Our offense would always come and go. Now we have been better, I think, making decisions in close games and in clutch time with our offense. Ant in particular has been much, much better. But we're still have a little bit of a kind of a big game, hunting the big shot mentality that it compounds, to the poor, as you see, the poor transition. But we got to find our defensive resistance when things are going against us. When we haven't been able to get buckets, our resistance drops.
Emotions were high after Toronto. You come back, lose 3 more after that game. Where's just the emotion and state of the team right now in terms of dealing with each other at the moment?
Of course, they're down. I think they're down. They're frustrated. They've been frustrated. But they're communicating. They're acknowledging that they got to come together and they got to, figure it out. And I think, they, again, showed some fight today in the second half for sure after a frustrating halftime, too. So, the willingness to say the right thing is there. I just got to do it, go out and do it. So.
Almost 20 games into the season, kind of break the season up into chunks like that. How long do you give when you have personnel changes like you have to dissect whether something's working or not working?
Well, it's an ongoing process. I don't know if I have like an end date, like, hey, at 25 games, we're going to do something radically different, So, thank you.